friends, welcome back to another video. We are tackling a little bit of a home project today. We're in the week in between Christmas and New Year's, and since we have kind of a little bit more downtime, we've decided to kind of tackle some of the projects that we've been talking about tackling for months. So we're going to essentially build a peg rack. It's very simple. We're going to build a peg rack for our entryway so that we have somewhere to put our bags and our hats and jackets and stuff. We don't really have a drop zone at the moment, and it kind of just creates a lot of clutter, a lot of mess, a lot of disorganization. So trying to implement a little bit of a system to make mornings headed to school a little bit easier. We're gonna head to Home Depot and I'm gonna bring you along. Hopefully this will be a cute little start to your new year. All right, first we need a new stud finder, because we had this one back in the day and it is kind of crappy. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you for doing that. We're home and we're gonna get started putting the boards up. I wanted to kind of quickly talk you through what the plan is here before I put this movie back on for my kids. The main thing that's difficult about this little half wall, this is the door that leads to our bedroom, but the thing that's difficult about this is that our doorway is tucked right into the corner of the wall, I guess, and so there's not a lot of space in a lot of other entryways that I've seen kind of as inspiration on the internet. There's a tiny little gap, right, where you can like stick a shoe rack, put up a shelf, put a bench. We don't have that luxury. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. There is literally, my hand doesn't even fully fit into this little space here. There's truly like nowhere to stick a shoe rack or something without then impeding the flow of 5 people, because it's 5 of us in this house, 5 people walking in. What we're hoping to do is to put 2 racks up. So we got 2 big pieces of lumber. And we're hoping to put like 1 rack up here and then 1 a bit lower for the kids, so that they have somewhere to hang, especially in the winter, hang their coats. And that way things are just a little bit tidier. So that's the plan. And then it leaves a little notch. I'm sure you can hear in the background, but my husband is out on the front porch sanding down the lumber, the wood, to kind of make it smoother, make it nicer, so that nobody gets any splinters. We had to do just a little bit of trimming on it, but I thought this might be a good time, since we're like in that between Christmas and New Year's haze. I kind of like to take this time every year to reflect and to obviously think about what I would love the new year to hold for me. And I would love to tell you that this was a very serene, aesthetic moment of contemplation, but that's not what life with 3 kids is, so that is not what it looked like. A lot of this was done at night on my phone. This feels kind of weird to do. I've never really done this on my channel before, but the first thing that I wanted to do before I started thinking about, oh, okay, what do I want 2025 to be, and like who do I want to be, and what do I want my goals to be, blah blah blah, I wanted to take some time to be really grateful for what this year held. Honestly, this year was kind of great. I feel like I finally have a friend group. I've never just traveled with friends before. I've traveled with my sister, who is one of my closest friends, but I've never traveled with like people who I haven't gone to school with, you know what I mean? Like, we went to Portland this year and we had like a really beautiful time. Always searched for the kind of friends where you can feel like yourself. I'm really thankful for the women in my life that I've been able to like deepen my friendships with this year, and I'm hoping that I get to continue doing that next year. I actually, one of my goals kind of related to friendships is I want to get better at hosting in my house. So funny, like I always feel like my house isn't big enough. There's a lot of rooms in this house, but they're not particularly large. So it will always feel cozy. It will always feel a little bit cramped in here. But I need to just like embrace it and get over it. Something happened this year that felt like, it felt like a closing of a, I don't even want to say like a chapter. It just felt like we came full circle. But like being in a home that we're not growing out of, being in, I mean, we're renting, but we love our landlord and she's wonderful. And really our hope is to live in this home until, God willing, we buy a house. Feeling settled in that way. Whereas like living in a studio, we always knew we were gonna outgrow the studio. Living in the 1-bedroom apartment, we knew we were outgrowing the 1-bedroom. And then it was also COVID, so I was like, we gotta get out of here. Being in the 2-bedroom apartment duplex thingy that was a complete slum, yeah, we wanted to get out of there. And moving into our 2-bedroom bungalow, and you know, I was willing to make that work. I don't know, having like God work through this landlady who said, I thought of you and your family, do you want to slide over? Like, yeah, what provision. That, and it's so crazy how I didn't realize that like having a stability of like, we don't need to leave in the next 2 years. I can think long term now, if that makes sense. Knowing that we're done having kids, I don't have to keep planning for like, what if I get pregnant? What if we have more kids? That's off the table now. I can let go of the things that served me for those 5 years that I was carrying children and nursing children, and I don't have to keep that stuff around anymore. And so it feels like I am shedding a lot of the things that the kind of uncertainties that I have carried with me, that have kept me in limbo. And then on top of that, like turning 35, something about that felt really like everything came into sync. Not everything, you know, but like I feel like now I can root down where I was always wanting to root down. I couldn't because the ground kept shifting, and I don't feel that way anymore. Not in a lot of kind of those basic parts of life. Like I still don't know what I'm doing career wise, which is not a wonderful place to be when you're 35, but whatever, like I'll figure it out. I'm a smart person, I'll figure it out. This isn't quite the season for that. That'll be in probably another few years once all of my kids are at school. Part of the reason I'm including this little spiel with you is because one of the things that I am doing this year, fully inspired by Kitty Cotton, who shared on her Instagram about how she kind of set some labels for herself last year that she wanted to incorporate. She started calling herself an artist. She started calling herself a workout person, and she felt like it was then, by calling herself these things in the present tense, she was able to actually incorporate them into her life instead of just like setting a goal and then being like using that as a thing to beat herself up about not reaching a goal, right? Like I tend to be kind of soft about accomplishments and goal setting because I too often have set really lofty goals and even made a plan for those goals, and life has been like, nope. And so in order to like protect my sanity, I kind of love this idea of calling myself something and incorporating it into my life that way. First thing is I want to be a maker, and I've started toying around with making. The last couple of months, I've kind of learned how to knit a little bit. I still haven't finished the project, but I am working on it. I want to learn how to sew. I made little needle felting animals and stuff, and I have ideas of things that I would like to create. Speaking of making, I want to be someone who makes her home feel like home. That's part of the reason that we just decided to tackle this little entryway project. But the other two things that I want to add to my life, the things I want to call myself: I'm a maker, like tangible things. I make content, I make videos. This one is so embarrassing. I am tidy. I want to be a tidy person. I am not the tidiest person, but I think that I deserve that kind of space, and my kids deserve a tidy space. And I just want to be, I want to incorporate, it's so funny, I feel so many other people are like Kitty Cotton is like, I want to be more present and I need to like just do the bare minimum in the house. And I'm like, no, I need to do a little bit more than my bare minimum. I need to like establish a bit more of a tidying routine to keep me sane and to keep my kids sane. I want our home to be a soft landing place. And the third one, which relates kind of to this internal shift that I felt as a mom and a 35-year-old woman, is I am a person who takes care of herself. I don't want to call it like self-care queen, although that I guess is the easier way of describing it, but I definitely want to be someone who prioritizes taking care of myself as much as I take care of my kids. My husband's all done cutting the wood. Let's go drill some holes in the wall. We did not buy enough screws, but that's not a problem. We also decided we moved away from the original plan, which was to put a peg every foot. But I think every 6 inches looks better. So we're gonna do that. That is what Brandon is marking out now. Hi, we're back. The pegs got here today, and my husband already did like the little pilot holes and stuff. So I'm gonna get this opened and start screwing in some pegs to hopefully have this thing ready to go for tomorrow. It's actually been a few days since we finished our project. I haven't bothered to style it. I don't think there's a point in styling it. I would rather show you how we actually use it than like the prettiest version of it, if that makes sense. One of my favorite things about this project was that it was like under $100. And it already has made a huge impact in how the space feels. But yeah, I just wanted to wrap up the video and say thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Happy 2025, friends. See you soon.